Call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Lee Sharps.
Here.
Kathleen DeWolf.
Here.
Eli Badger.
Here.
Fran Newton here. Any public comments on the agenda? Don't see any. Moving on. Approval of minutes. We have a meeting from August 19th. Are there any comments, corrections?
I just had a couple small ones.
Okay.
Charlie, on page 2 at the top, second line, just take out the word "in," so it says wanted clarification of wording, not in of wording.
Right,
Just
right.
something small.
Yep.
And on page 3, there's an awkward sentence, line 37. It should say, "The board announced the approval of a letter to Ashland Historical Society," take out "about" and put "saying the lease agreement will," put "will" instead of "will be sent," and take the word "for" out, and the town will not accept funds for the WHS Whipple House lease payment.
Yep.
Does that make more sense
Yep.
to everybody?
Yep. Thank you.
It's just clarification.
Anything else?
No, that was it.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 19th as amended.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and we also have August 27th. Comments? Corrections?
I wasn't here.
Okay,
No, I didn't see any.
okay. I didn't either. So, motion to approve the minutes of August 27th as written.
Make that motion.
Second? Is there a second? I'll second
I'll
it.
second it.
All those
Do
in
you need an invitation?
Yes, I did.
Give it to me.
Yes.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No vote.
Okay.
And just apparently
Think you
two
were
certain
asleep or
people out.
something.
I guess so.
All right. New business. Ashland welfare guidelines.
Yes. Do you want me to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Susie has been receiving a few applicants lately, which has brought to the attention how our guidelines needed to be updated.
Okay.
She had a couple recommended changes
Okay.
that she brought forward to us, and we worked with council on making those changes.
Okay.
In your packet, it's basically everything that's highlighted in red. I
Okay.
made some notes that I can go through for the
Yeah.
people at
Okay.
home.
I read through
Yeah.
this.
Is this pretty much pro forma?
Has legal already seen this?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
this has been back from legal
Okay.
and updated, revised per legal
Okay.
language. First change is right off the bat, at the beginning, the mission statement, that is new, on the front cover,
Okay.
excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Yep, yep. The Town of Ashland Welfare Department provides financial assistance to those individuals and families in our community who are financially unable to meet their own basic need expenses such as food, housing, medications, utilities, and burials.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, nice.
Now, section 4, which is page,
11?
is it 11?
Well, there's some
that's
red
fine.
on page 6,
Oh,
in section
Yeah.
B.
Yeah, section, yeah, page 6, 4.
oh, yeah.
Oh, 4,
Section
okay.
4B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Points 14 and 15 were added.
Yep.
Point 14, it refer a homeless applicant who is homeless or at risk of being homeless to a shelter or appropriate housing. Point 15 was added. This is where the welfare director will meet with applicants and
Wow,
Goodness.
wow, what's happening?
I didn't do it!
we are
I was speeding a little bit on the way.
tonight. So the welfare director is going to meet with
We have
applicants.
to ask Martine to leave. It's take an escort.
In
Go ahead.
appropriate and cost-effective way. This may include referral to other agencies and or resources.
Okay.
Section D, actions on applications, point number 4C
Yep.
was withdrawn. Essentially, this section says, excuse me, 4C.
In cases in which.
Yeah, I'm checking my notes to make sure
Okay.
I got it. If welfare refers applicants to housing, for housing, et cetera, an applicant refuses, the welfare is under no obligation to seek or pay alternate housing shelter.
Okay.
Okay.
Instead of reading it all,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
gonna
Got
summarize
it.
Right, right. Okay.
Section 9, determination of eligibility and amount. So there's a few changes here. A, eligibility formula, point 3 was added. Other than provided elsewhere in these guidelines, arrearages shall not be paid. Section C, non-financial eligibility factors. Point 3, eligibility for other categorical assistance. Last line, the welfare shall not be entitled for assistance as long as they otherwise qualify for assistance. So basically, if you're getting assistance elsewhere.
Yep.
Right.
Employment, child care searches must be documented.
Okay.
Section D, available assets. Points, yep. Points 1, 2, and 3 were all updated. Liquid assets, automobile ownership, and insurance. Essentially, they're all to be taken into consideration when determining eligibility.
Okay.
Okay.
Section E, standard of need, basic needs criteria. Council and welfare added a whole new first paragraph to the welfare guidelines. Point A, shelter, is about, they added a line there where security deposits are added. Basically, the welfare director can negotiate with the landlord.
Okay.
Okay.
Questions? Point 12, storage as a necessity living expense was added.
Okay.
And F, income. Points 4 and 5. Basically, they added a 1-800 number for people to contact.
Okay.
And IRS tax refunds are also considered income.
Okay.
Section 9, burials and cremations. The town will not assist if state and federal burial benefits are available. Burial benefits are considered in the instance of cremation charges, and basically the request must be made prior to the funeral,
Okay.
really
That's
immediately.
actually section 11.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're correct, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we came across this, that's why
Okay.
that's been added.
Is that it?
That's
Okay. Do we need a vote on that? Okay, well, I appreciate the work that the
Yes.
welfare officer and legal, and you have done on this, Charlie. It's always good to review these documents and update them appropriately. So I will entertain a motion to approve the updated welfare guidelines for Ashland.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, again, thank you to all
Yes.
involved.
Should we have a
Absolutely.
date on this for when it was?
Yes,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
definitely
Oh.
should be a date.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Kathleen.
And it should be signed also. The town manager
Yeah.
can sign on our behalf.
Okay, yep, that's good. Any other new business?
Signed and dated.
Okay, old business, the DPW Ashland School Shared Equipment Agreement. We have looked at this and made some changes, as I understand.
Yep, the changes that were made, the shall was added.
Yeah,
No, that's section 2, subsection D. The school district, they crossed out will and put in shall be responsible.
yep,
And council also added up top under third paragraph
Yeah.
down, excuse me, fourth paragraph,
Yeah.
third section where it says whereas.
Yeah,
Whereas Ashland School District owns various equipment used for maintaining its lawns, which the town wishes to use from time to time.
yep,
So that was
okay,
added.
that's great. Okay, any?
This was sent to the school board. They've asked for a copy of this,
Okay,
and we did send them a draft.
okay.
Okay.
Are they gonna vote on it tonight?
I don't know.
Okay,
Tim asked for a copy, and
okay, then we'll hopefully discuss it.
Yeah.
Do we need to have them vote as well as?
I would yeah.
We at the, and have them both recorded?
They should both be
Right.
recorded, they don't need to be simultaneous, I mean,
No,
we can,
but-
we can vote on it, but yeah,
We
they
do
would
need-
have to,
okay.
they would have to agree to them as well,
Okay.
I would assume. So if we're ready, is there a motion to approve the agreement between Town of Ashland, DPW and Ashland School District?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Further discussion?
I find this a lopsided agreement.
In what way?
The school wants to use the equipment that we need to use probably at the exact same time for snow removal. We don't have a surplus of equipment. We had issues last year of it being down. Whereas DPW wants to use lawn equipment, which is only for a certain period of time. The school is not in session. They don't have a public area where they mow the lawn that's visible to the public. The whole thing of using our road snow removal equipment, I just can't justify it. What have they been doing in the past?
They've privately contracted it out, I believe. This saves the school money and ultimately saves the taxpayers' money.
But it's,
I understand that it's lopsided, but also you cannot expect the school to have plows and things that we can borrow. And I believe the agreement is that we get first priority. When they've used it in the past, it's always been if we don't need it. And again, I'm of a mind that we're one town and we should share resources. And ultimately, this saves money for the school and it saves money for the taxpayers. That's my opinion. And I understand your point, Kathleen,
Yeah.
but,
it's just, one of them is the sidewalk plow. Supposing they're using it and Craig says, well, I really need it now.
it's
We get it back.
We get it back, so
yeah.
it's, to me, it's a logistic issue also.
Well, it is, but
The
that's-
sharing back and forth. I'm just not
Yeah.
comfortable with it at all, and
Okay.
I don't know why suddenly this has become an issue with the school. They've managed to handle this within their budget before. Our equipment is aging. We had issues with it last year, that we had to borrow from other towns so we could just get our snow removal done. I think there needed to be a lot more discussion with us exactly how this was gonna be done. Just saying, well, if we need it, we get it back. There's logistics involved. I'm
Okay.
I'm just not at all comfortable with
okay,
this.
that's fine. So, all those in favor of approving the agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, thank you. Any other old business? Select board items, deliberative session. Can't believe we're coming up on that.
Well, we voted last.
We
time,
voted last week.
but we didn't.
Yeah, last time for the date.
We didn't pick a
which was February
location.
1st. Why don't we go to the gym again? I mean, that seems to
Yeah, I
be-
just needed it
Yeah,
as well.
I think the gym is most appropriate,
Yeah.
just in case you get a big crowd.
Well, the gym can handle, there's plenty of room in the gym.
Yeah.
Not that, I'm sorry, I think we should go to the
Oh, the
cafeteria area.
Well, which one's going to be warmer?
The cafeteria, I would imagine.
Because it was chilly last year.
It was quite chilly last year. And
Kept
there's,
us awake.
and there's, there's quite a bit of room in the cafeteria to handle the standard 40 to 50 people we've had in the past, 5 or 6 years that have been attending these meetings.
Well, I would hate to think that we'd have 200 and there wouldn't be room for them. I'm dreaming, okay.
Yes, Fran, you are dreaming. But, you know, that possibility could happen, and if
It
it
could.
does, then we move it,
You can
or
do
we
that.
make adjustments for the next year. But for the last, 5 or 6 years now, it's been a scattering of
It's
people
been
on
empty.
the bleachers,
Yeah.
and basically, all the time that they have to do to set it up,
Mm-hmm.
and because the heat didn't come on, or
That
however
was-
the logistics were,
Well, it's pretty
everybody was,
cavernous, that's
yes,
why it
was
yeah,
cold.
so cold.
Do we know how many people it can actually legally hold?
The cafeteria?
Yeah, that's a good
because-
question.
Because of
We,
police,
um,
you know,
Well, there'd be a
fire law.
yeah,
Okay,
Assembly.
assembly
During-
permit,
Right.
that's the word.
during the Soldier On
Yep,
project, there were over 60 people
Yeah,
in
I recall.
the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Right.
and it handled them well. Yes,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm willing to try it, you know, for the heat if nothing else. I'd be real happy if it was standing room only, but,
Well, I think there's enough parking too, could have been an issue, but there's
Yeah.
parking out back,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I think that would be okay, and down below and back of the old school, so.
Right, right.
I think parking would be fine.
yeah, well, parking at the gym is not easy.
No,
It's the town hall, so you
True.
willing to try the cafeteria?
sure.
Thoughts?
How long ago did they have it there?
I don't know.
I don't remember, I've
I've always
been
gone
to
to
earrings
the-
there.
Yeah,
It's,
I don't,
it's
I don't
generally,
remember how long ago that was. It was quite a while ago, though. The Soldier On one.
yeah, it was.
oh, the Soldier On one was
Yeah.
several years ago
Yeah.
6 years ago,
now.
7 years ago.
But as far as how long we've had it at the
Jim?
gym, I've been in town for
100 years?
40 some odd years, and the gym is the only place that they've,
Yeah, same
Had
with
it.
me. You're right.
Yes, David?
I would say it's since the gym was built,
Oh,
1948.
okay, a long
Yeah,
time.
maybe we should not break
Yeah.
tradition. It might be a bad omen if we break tradition. Perhaps we should leave it at the gym.
Just dress warmer. this
Yeah.
year.
That's right,
Alright.
that's right.
Okay.
So you want to
Okay.
revote on
Yes.
Saturday, February 1st at 10 a.m. Snow date being Saturday, February
February
8th
Right.
at the school gymnasium.
Yes,
Correct.
Okay.
okay.
All in favor?
All in
Aye.
favor, aye. All right. Okay, Ashland 4th of July Committee.
Okay, so this one, we need to decide what we want to do with the 4th of July committee. And what I mean by that is I've noticed that they've started to reconvene their meetings.
Yep,
Last year, these folks never got appointed
I know.
because we didn't really. I think it just got ahead of us too much. So before they get going, I think they need to get. They do need to get appointed.
Right.
We need to set terms. We need to. Obviously, the objection for them would probably be to run, set up the event. But
Right.
what are their terms? What are the conditions that the board expects? What are the parameters? I mean, is it going to be, there's some people that aren't from town, do we want them from town? At the very least, we need to know how many are going to be on this committee so we can call them in and have them take oaths.
Yep, yeah, which never happened. And they had volunteers that, for which there was no
No
signer,
roster, no.
no roster.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean,
And-
and last night, sorry, friend.
No, it's okay.
Last night I think it was last night's meeting or last week.
Last week.
They didn't. They had people there and they didn't even have a quorum.
Yeah,
Oh, is
So
that,
that's
oh, really? Is that,
Yeah.
You didn't have a quorum?
No, it was just like 4 of us.
for
Oh.
but so
Oh.
yeah.
It was just a discussion, there was no.
So
well, what is the option about not having them be under the town, having them be an independent
they become
committee?
a 501(c)(3).
They have to get that, they have to get
have
that
that.
approval,
Yes,
or go under the banner of some other 501c3.
yes.
yep.
I mean, it was frustrating to try to work with them, to have them comply with the town rules and regulations. And, I personally would prefer that they were independent, and that way we would eliminate some liability for us. So
Yeah.
but they have to go under some other banner.
Yeah,
After our meeting with Primex, well, I'm trying to make sure I use the right, I was disturbed that the town was open to so much risk. That we didn't see what the plans were till like 2 weeks before
Yep.
the activity.
Yeah.
The Primex spokesperson asked some questions, and the answer was from Eli, and we don't know, we
Yeah.
never saw
Yeah.
it.
Right.
And that's on us also. But as we tried to be open and welcoming to this committee, that just, to be under the town, we have to follow this set of rules that have been developed.
Yeah.
And
right.
they might be better served as an outside
Separate.
agency.
I think they would be,
They might
frankly.
be able to recruit more people to
Yeah.
join them.
Yeah.
They would
That's
have to
true.
then negotiate with the town to use the town property.
Yeah.
But Charlie's already in the work about getting contracts approved by legal
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that transfers the risk to another entity.
Yeah.
That reduces the liability on the town, and we were open to all sorts of liability last year. Thankfully, nothing
Mm-hmm. I know,
happened, but
and we've been lucky.
But that's not a game that I am willing to play.
No,
that we
given
just-
our legal line this year,
Yes, yeah.
it's a risk that I'm
Yeah.
kind of reluctant to take.
We're
so-
talking about
Yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of activity in a very small concentrated
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And like I said, if they only had 4 people show up last week, I'm quite taken aback by that. That maybe they would be better served if they could become like the Ashland area or something
Yeah.
more,
Right.
using that as their call name or however you want to put
Right.
it.
So,
Well, how would we propose that?
well, I think they should look for another umbrella to go under.
No, I mean, how are we gonna do that? Send a letter, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The process.
that Charlie would have to craft something that we would approve
Yeah.
to release
Right.
them under that going forward,
Right.
that we feel they would be better served as an outside agency and not be a
Okay.
town committee.
Yeah,
And
This
we,
year,
and
for
and
this
we,
year?
for this coming year.
This year?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Moving
2020.
forward, yeah.
And that's within our purview as Board of Selectmen. We can appoint people, we can
Right.
create boards and commissions, and we can also uncreate them,
Yeah.
if that's such a word. I don't think so. Dissolve, that's it. Uncreate, I like that.
Recreate.
Uncreate, yes, dissolve. Thank you.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
discuss creationism in here.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the route that I would prefer to go. I mean, wholeheartedly supportive
Yeah.
of the effort, but I agree with Kathleen, the risk, given what's happened and how lucky we've been over the years that nothing has happened. I would just soon absolve the town of the risk.
And it has expanded, especially this year, beyond the original scope,
Right.
which made.
Which is great, but
Yes,
it's just,
but we need to transfer that risk onto the vendors and onto the people who
Absolutely.
are approaching them.
Absolutely.
To,
But we
have
still
these-
have to be aware of licensing.
Oh, we
that's right,
absolutely
yes,
do.
we'll have to
Absolutely do.
craft a new vendor's license and probably some other
And
things.
copies of everything.
And,
and-
yeah, yes, they'll have to come in front of us
Right.
and.
So
basically-
again,
Present it
it'll probably mean a consult
town
with legal and
property.
with Primex, just to make sure that, we've crossed all of our Ts and dotted all
Yes.
of our Is as well. We can't just
Right,
close our eyes. So-
And because we have so much work to do, it's very, very difficult for us to monitor these type of activities without us being accused of micromanaging
I know.
or trying to be in control. And I don't believe any of us felt that way. It's because they are representing the town, and we have to be cognizant of everything that happens.
Yeah.
Like you said, crossing our i's and dotting our
Yeah,
t's.
exactly.
To simplify it.
Right. Okay,
Okay, I'll let them know.
thank you.
Okay.
We'll work on that.
do we need a consensus for that?
Do a vote to dissolve
yeah.
the committee?
Okay,
And
Maybe
to
we
send a
should.
letter.
Okay.
I
Wouldn't it-
think to have it
What?
recorded
What? Go
somewhere.
ahead.
It'd be nice to talk to them first.
It would be.
Yes, that would be nice.
But who's in charge? If
I don't
they were
know.
supposed to reorganize last week, was what the agenda
I-
said.
But they didn't?
No,
Oh, they didn't have a
David said they
quorum.
didn't have a quorum.
Well, we can still vote to dissolve them, but
we
invite
can
them in for a discussion,
discussion.
to talk about
Or
how
what their
that
next
gets handled,
steps is.
what their
Yeah,
next steps
yeah,
are.
yeah. Because I'm assuming that they still want to use the ball field, and they still will have to.
Right,
co-
go
you know,
by the town
Well, they'll still have to speak
regulations.
to us about it,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, and we need to try to make this as
Yeah.
possible.
But
as
we should
possible.
start the ball rolling soon.
I agree with
Yeah.
you, and
So-
Charlie has he started one contract that's gone through legal that covers some of the other areas where we didn't have contracts for people to use town property.
Use of town property.
Use of town property, yeah.
So I guess I need a motion to dissolve the 4th of July committee as a town committee.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
For sake of discussion, I will second it.
Okay, so discussion.
I think it's the wrong move until we talk to them.
Lee?
I see both sides.
Yeah, I do
and,
too.
Maybe we should bring them in first to talk to
Well,
them.
maybe we can send them a letter of intent,
Yes,
rather
Yeah,
than,
yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, let's
than
do
an
that.
official
Yeah.
dissolution.
I think you're right, Eli.
Of course I am.
Well, no,
And he's modest also.
not all the time.
So you want to cancel the motion?
It has to be,
Rescind it.
I'll
Rescinded.
rescind,
Okay.
I'll rescind my motion.
So the motion
In a
now
second.
becomes
I'll
to,
second the rescension.
Yeah, all in
No.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so
So
the
what was it?
motion will now be to invite them in to discuss
Possible.
the possible dissolution of the 4th of July committee as a town committee, and advise them to consider other options. Okay?
That's very good.
All right, so that's the motion.
That's good.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving on.
Okay, so good news, we received a letter of compliment from,
Yes.
for the great work that the PD and Public Works were doing, and, Mr. Fucarell? Fucarell? I asked him if I could read this, and he said, sure. He wrote this email last week, and he said he would like to point out once again the wonderful job Craig Moore and his crew are doing. He listens to the citizens, does all he can to help them, and makes Ashland look good. He and his department are doing a great job. They take on the responsibility of good work with effort, and they deserve congratulations and appreciation. Hence this email. Thank you, Public Works Department. Also, we can't help but notice that presence of police cars all over town. It's great to see them out and about and making the community a safer place. Kudos to the chief and the Ashland Police Department, David and Carol Fucarell.
Excellent.
Very nice.
Yes, it's so nice to get that
Yes.
feedback.
great.
Much appreciated. And you guys are appreciated as well. Okay, any
Oh, I
others?
had one more.
Yep, go ahead.
LRPC TAC appointments.
Yes,
We got notification that we're a little bit late on the appointments.
Mm-hmm.
Dave said he would,
Dave said he
Yep.
would do it, but he
Oh, yeah.
thought it would be more appropriate for you and Craig to do it, given the audience that's usually at these TAG meetings. They're of tremendous value. But, you know, Dave he's, you know, not a DPW guy, he's not in town government, and they have engineers, they have DPW directors, they have town managers and administrators, they have select board members, and he thought it would be more appropriate to draw from that group rather than Dave trying to report back to us.
Makes
So,
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Martine, are you on, no, you're
That's
not
not
a TAC,
TAC,
no,
no.
you're just
She's
an
an LRPC, yeah.
And for the public, it's
Yeah.
Transportation Advisory Committee.
Right.
TAC.
And, you know, they've been tremendously helpful to us since we got involved with them. And
Right.
it's a firsthand view of what the state's thinking, what, you know, the DOT is thinking.
Yeah.
We should not ignore it. And again, I think it would be most appropriate for Craig and frankly you, Charlie, but that's my thought.
Another commitment for Charlie to have to fulfill. Get you out of the
I'll
office.
try.
It's once a month.
Yeah.
that's where he gets the big
It's
bucks.
once a month,
Yeah.
but Craig should definitely go. So,
I agree.
so board vote to appoint David.
No,
no,
you.
You,
Appointed, I
you
thought-
and Craig.
I just said, Dave said he would do it. However, comma, it is his recommendation that he is the wrong person, given the audience that's there.
So Dave's not gonna do it.
Correct.
He will only do it if you guys don't. And in my opinion,
He thinks it's more proper that you and Craig do it.
Okay.
And it's during the day,
yes, it is during the day, and it's once a month.
Right,
and it's once a month.
and that's
You
good.
did it for a while.
I did it, and I felt it was best that our DPW director at the time be there
Yeah,
for the same reasons that Dave,
right.
Right.
we did it. We even formed the Ashland version of the TAC committee. But having two people that are not involved in
The day-to-day.
the day-to-day
Yeah.
operation,
Operations, yeah.
we made good contacts,
Yeah,
but that was what we could do.
Right.
Considering nobody had been on it for quite a while.
They had
correct? No show.
they had
Yeah.
had no one there. That was made quite evident the first time
Yeah.
that we
I
went
can hear the
for
words,
a,
yeah.
TAP grant.
Yes,
for our TAP
Yeah.
grant.
yeah.
And one of the gentlemen, very nice gentleman, a very fine gentleman,
Yes,
Wait
we
for
felt
it.
what was
Really?
big.
I know,
Yeah.
I presented that first
Yes,
said
Yeah.
that, why should we give it to you? You don't come.
one.
yeah.
Right. So,
Okay.
Okay.
There you have it.
okay. Any other select board items?
Are we gonna have a public hearing on raising the user fee for water?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
When
When
is
are we
that?
gonna do that?
Hopefully the work session.
Isn't that when DOT's coming about the bridge?
No.
Yes.
Wait, is it the same day?
It's the same date.
Yes.
16th.
The 16th?
Does,
Yeah.
does that matter?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't think so.
No? Okay.
That was quick.
Why? Why doesn't it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
either do it before
Okay.
Right.
Or
right.
after?
or after.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
Both
what it
are,
incurred,
both are important.
what it incurred is supposed to come with DES after that and explain the whole asset management.
Oh.
meeting. I
So this is
believe
gonna
they're
be a heavy-duty meeting on
October
the 16th, yeah.
21st, I believe. Is
Yes.
when
Okay,
that's
Okay.
tentative.
Okay,
okay.
Okay.
alrighty. Any other select board items?
I have a couple brief
Yes,
ones.
go ahead.
I know you were trying to ignore me because
I-
you didn't want,
no,
want me to
not
do
at all.
anything. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just have
I'm not ignoring you.
a couple brief things. Last week, the Big and Little Squam Lakes Watershed Committee met with representatives from the 5 towns surrounding the 2 lakes, and I represent Ashland as a selectman. The main focus was on build-out or development around the shorefront and the effect on the water quality. And there is no immediate 100% build-out for about 30 to 50 years, especially in Ashland, because there isn't much land left around the Little Squam and the river area, actually. So there isn't anything to worry about, no population explosions during our lifetime anyway. So the thing that they are concerned about is the water quality, the phosphorus level, and algae content. And that's what we're going to be looking at within the next year during this study before we get any actual written results. It's pretty involved. But I made a point again of saying that we would like the river to be part of this study, the algae and phosphorus, because that's where our main concentration, the little camps and everything going into town. So I made a point of making sure that we're going to be included in that.
Good,
In our
thank you.
part,
Yeah,
in
the
our
river-
part of Little
Yeah,
Swan
the
Lake.
river gets forgotten quite a bit.
And that's why I
It's a-
bring
it's
it
a
up
major link.
every
Yeah.
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
And also the study is going to start going more in depth with all the tributaries that go into both of the lakes, Little Squam and Big, and we have some on our end, which would include the river again. And at some point, they're going to try to look at designating more conservation areas, and especially in our town, which would be, I think, to our benefit, obviously. And for our planning board, and I know that Susan McLeod is quite interested in what the effect of this committee is concerning a planning board. And so the end of our discussion was quite lengthy, because they want planning boards to be aware that increasing lot sizes is for the welfare, the health of the water, and the shorefront. So they are suggesting that planning boards in the near future, if not this year or the next year, look at expanding our lot size. All the towns, they're all looking at them.
Okay.
I think Moultonborough is like 5 acres or something. It's huge.
Wow.
Yeah, because they, they have a
Yeah.
large part and it's big
Yeah.
concentration.
Okay.
So that's all I had on that.
All right. Thank you.
One more thing.
I know.
I know in the past I've talked about wanting to talk about some of the legal procedures that the board does, and I don't want to, of course, do them all at one time. So I thought I'd bring up a few at a time. And mainly, I think some things should be brought up in March when new boards come on board, like public comment sections of the agenda. I think that a new board every year should vote on how they want to proceed. If you want it in the beginning and the end, and how long. And right now, the 2017 motion that we voted for, you probably remember, gave permission for 3 minutes for a citizen to talk, and that we have public comment in the beginning and at the end, and of agenda items only, which the majority of towns and cities in the state now do. They limit it so that you're not blindsided or name calling or whatever you want to call it.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah. So for now, though, I think maybe we should think about
Yep.
talking about that, and maybe voting to, yes, that's what we want to do the rest of the year, keep it like 2017, or if you guys want to talk about just having one of them, or whatever, that maybe we could do that at the next work session
Okay.
and talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit more, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
And the other one, I do want to rescind a motion, although we don't have to, because I talked to NHMA, a couple attorneys, because 91-A supersedes what I'm going to talk about. But this involves duties of the chair, something about duties of the chair, one of the duties. So the public knows, a chair basically has 3 duties, and the first one is to run our meetings. But she's not our boss, we're all equal, so we don't have to call her and tell her if we're gonna be absent, or go on or anything like that. We are equal, she's here to run our meetings. Second, she is here to maintain order at our meetings. And third, she can sign documents on our behalf as long as we have voted, or a quorum has voted, to allow her to represent us. Now, the second one, maintaining order. Back in 2017, a former selectman made a motion and we approved it. However, 91-A supersedes it, and we don't have to formally do this, but I would like to rescind a motion that was made that allows, and I can't believe we let this go by, Fran, any member of the board to designate that someone in the audience is being disruptive, and that one of us has the power, or any of us has the
Yep.
power, to ask that person to leave, or to ask a police person to escort that person out. Well, 91-A says the chair is the only one who can do that, not any of us. So even though we don't have to rescind it, I would like to formally do that the way that we did to those.
Did we actually approve that?
Yes.
We did?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe.
We did. I have those minutes. I should have brought them with me, but we did. There was a
Okay,
motion.
all right. It was sort of loose after.
It was,
the
right.
official 3-page document that was to call order, we rejected.
Oh,
But we
now I
just
know what
sort
you're
of
talking
said,
about.
Yes.
yeah, anyone can,
Right.
okay, fine.
And we really shouldn't do that
I
because that's
agree.
very confusing.
It
Of
is.
course, if we want to give you an opinion, take that, person needs to, whatever,
Like,
we
try
can
to
do
stop
that.
you.
Yeah. But legally, we can't do that.
Okay,
So I
thank
would
you.
just like to have a consensus that we are not going to
I'm all-
observe that 2017 motion, that we are going to revert back to 91-A
Okay.
and allow the chair to only to have that power.
Thank you. I think that's wise.
I'll agree to the consensus.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
And I did write it out if you were,
Okay.
about superseding. And do I have anything else?
No, you
Oh,
said two items.
Oh, wait,
She lied.
okay, just a little one, just a little one. I'm gonna be gone for a while, and I won't be here for the September 14th railroad celebration.
Okay.
And so I'm not able to represent the board at
Okay.
that, and I just wanted to give advance
Okay,
notice.
thank you. Anything
That's
else?
it.
Well, since the only thing other than governmental, I'm on Perlac, and I can see where this committee was driven by Northern Pass for what?
Oh, yeah.
8 years.
Yes. And they did a great job.
Yes, they did.
Well represented.
There's quite a few new members, and Ashland is very fortunate. We have steep slope ordinances in place.
Yes.
We do not have development along, well, the town owns a good portion of frontage on the PEMI. But,
Right.
New Hampton and Plymouth are looking to do the wellhead protection that
Oh,
Ashland did 2 years ago
Right.
now, so they're working on that. Plymouth is putting in a new
been in
well
the forefront.
on property that I believe they are gonna be leasing from the New Hampton School off 175.
oh,
Because their well has shown salt in it. Their well is near Foster's,
Yeah.
so it's close to the highway also. So they're finding the same issues, and I
That we
think,
do.
not
in-
175.
no,
No.
this is where the new well they're gonna put in, which
Oh,
will
I
bring
thought
it
you
away.
said something about Route 175.
That's where their new
The new one is
well
going.
is
Oh, I
going.
see, okay.
Yeah.
That, you know, what
interesting.
happened 30 years ago is now affecting many of the towns along the corridor, because that was the easiest way to access.
Right.
Bring your equipment in right now.
Yeah.
And they still do the water testing. We do have a member who was involved with the Baker River watershed, and they had lots of issues during the heavy flooding last year where a
Right.
lot of septic systems were affected. And now they are testing the waters after heavy rainstorms where the Baker comes into the PEMI right near the two bridges there just
Right.
by Foster's to see to see if there's any measurable differences because the Baker's very low
Right.
at like this time of the year, but it does swell during heavy rainstorms to see if it affects the water now going downstream.
Okay.
That's interesting.
What is interesting, though, is because they are, LRPC is encouraging multiple members from towns, that personally, I feel there's a little disconnect. I don't know Campton, so when they talk about issues in Campton, I really don't know what
Yeah.
they're talking about. And it's the same with Ashland, and we get quite a bit of information about Franklin. We don't have anybody on the
Right.
committee from Franklin, so
Yeah, I remember that was a difficult point.
Yeah, so the few permits that
Yeah,
have
Rumney.
come through have been for development near to Franklin. So I really can't speak on it because I'm not even sure exactly where some of these areas are. Some of it's industrial. But for Ashland, we're very lucky,
we're
yeah,
lucky, and I think we're in good
because
shape.
Campton does
I
have,
think so,
have
too.
some homes that built where we would say absolutely not because
Yeah.
of steep slopes, and they open up their back door and they're practically into the river now.
Yes, I
So,
I
yeah.
remember.
That when they finally
that.
got their permit from DES, they
They
had to do major,
That was like,
Drainage.
yes,
Down to the water.
no, they have to basically,
Yeah.
build it out.
yeah, mostly
Yeah.
rip wrap and then hold it in place.
Yeah.
Like they do on the highways with the
Yeah.
rocks and stuff like that.
California.
Yeah, so,
That
Right.
worked well.
it is
Yeah.
a way to meet other people in town and hear their issues, but when they talk about some culvert somewhere up in Campton, it's like, I have What they're talking about, just,
Yeah.
yep, let's take care of it.
All
yeah,
right,
type
thank you
of
for that
thing.
update. Anything else?
No.
Nope. All right, are there any public comments? Yes,
I
David?
have a question. When you're
Yes.
talking about the 4th of July becoming independent, what happens to the money that the 4th of July
That,
committee
we'd
would-
have to work that out. Obviously, it's their money. Any money that's in that account would go back to them, no questions asked.
Yeah, legal would
Right.
have to
Yeah.
guide us through
Yeah.
that process.
Yeah. Anything else? Yes,
I just want
Will?
to introduce our new sergeant,
Oh,
Oh,
good.
very
Michael
nice.
Bear.
Thank
He
you,
started
Will.
with us last week.
What's your name?
Gary.
Gary. Okay, welcome. Glad to have you on board.
He's going to
And-
be hitting the road on his own next week.
Okay, well,
Thank
thank you
you.
for coming
Great.
to the meeting and being introduced. 'Cause too often, we don't
I
get to meet
know.
everybody.
And following our procedure.
Absolutely,
Will,
welcome,
very
welcome.
nice.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Okay, and I need a motion to go into non-public according to RSA 91A:3, Roman numeral 2, small letter B, which is hiring.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.